Hello and welcome to today's YouTube video. In this video, I will be discussing the summary of Atomic Habits. It is a quite a popular book written by James Clear to emphasize the effects and processes of building habits and how they will be helpful in developing you. So I have quite a few bookmarks over this, so I will just go over them and give you a brief summary and the important things I have noticed and that in my view are like which could help in future. So in the start he just shares about what some examples of habits like cancer. He spends 80% of his time undetectable in the body, so that he is trying to show that what can habits do to you, like cancer isn't even detectable, such as bad habits aren't even noticeable, but when they grow up and compound over time, that's when you notice that you have uh, reached a very bad position. And same thing goes with bad habits and good habits as well. Also, a quote he mentioned here: you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems." That got very popular. So, the main thing about here is that we will talk about in this book about building system rather than setting task list. So, if you have a system like you're waking up early and going to work stuff, you are far more likely to achieve more rather than making a to-do list and not setting any time bracket for it or not having any plan for it. And also talks about some mental stuff and psychological tricks to make you uh, to think like differently. Like when you're trying to becoming a hard worker, you should say that I'm a kind of person who works hard rather than I'm just trying to become a hard working person. So that can also help. And also he talks about when you're starting things, don't set goals, set systems for it. For example, if your goal is to run 100k, your goal should, or 10k run, you should be setting goals for that. You should be setting a goal to become a runner, and all of the things will come alongside. Then he talks about there's a two-step process to changing identity. Decide the person you want to be and prove it to yourself with small wins. So like put small wins in your life so that when you do them, it will give you a sense of belief and accomplishment. So break up tasks into smaller tasks, then as you do cross them off and try to become the kind of person you want to be and embed it into personality. There was a slight interruption, so I'm back. So we were talking about building habits and making yourself psychologically think that you are the person you want to become. So in that way you will have like a personality change rather than simply changing a habit or something like that. Here it says until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. So what happens in like when your mindset is sort of turned in a way that you need to uh, may maybe do something and you're generally like afraid of doing it. So what happens is your mind will say that don't do it, quit it, and you will do so. And in that process, you will say that it was fate that led me here, but it was your unconscious or subconscious mind that forced you to make the decision. Because if you're like always defensive, then your subconscious mind or unconscious mind will tell you that it's better to not do the task rather than do it. And if there's no fate or anything such thing as word in that, it's just your habit. Someone who is naturally brave will jump in the fire regardless of whether the condition suits him or not. But someone who is generally afraid will not able to jump into cold water just because he is afraid and his mind will tell him that if you go you will die. So, and there he says that, you know, change your stuff and associate habits with them. So, like if you're like you want to start a building a habit of brushing your teeth, and associate with uh, or waking up. So, and if you wanna do like weigh yourself, then associate it with getting dressed. Like every time I will get dressed, I will weigh myself. So you can, you know, associate habits with each other, so that it may be easily for you to build a habit that way. So here he talks about an experiment that in 2001 researchers in Great Britain began working with 248 people to build better exercise habit over the course of 2 weeks. There were two groups: control group that were asked to track how often they exercise. The second group was the motivation group. They were asked not only to track their workouts but also to read some material on the benefits of exercise. The researchers also explained the group how exercise could reduce the risk of coronary heart disease. And then there was third group. Uh, the subjects received the same presentation as the second group, which ensured they had equal motivation. And however, they were also asked to formulate a plan over the following week of how they would exercise. So they would like make a plan that I would exercise on this day of the week. So in the first and second group, 35 to 38 of the people did workout, uh, but 91% of the people in the third group did exercise, and only difference was that they had a plan with it and motivation. So in first case they had no motivation; they were just asked to track and work out. Second group was asked with motivation. Third had to make a plan for that. So if you have a plan and associate time and structure with it, you are bound to succeed. Like 38%, 91% require a significant difference. Some example he gives about is like, I will meditate for 1 minute at 7 a.m. in my kitchen. I will study Spanish for 20 minutes at 6 p.m. in my bedroom. I will exercise for 1 hour at 5 p.m. in my local gym. So when you have a plan, uh, it is better for you to, and you are more likely to succeed rather than not having a plan. It is backed by now by experiments. And here he talks about the Detroit effects, says that obtaining a new possession over critical by consumption that leads to additional purchase. He talks about that like you can make a pattern out of it. Like you have to buy a dress, you have to get new shoes and anything to match. So in this way, if you apply the same concept to habit, like if you study, then you're gonna study for 1 hour. You're gonna study this subject. So if you associate stuff with it, so it will be easier for you and make it subconscious effort. Like if you associate studying with sitting on your desk, then all you have to do is get yourself to the desk and you will be able to study. However, if you set a goal of just studying without a plan or a path or a place, then it will have issue. So like if you're studying, then make a plan, a lot of time and a lot of space to it as well. And he also says here, one space, one use. Like if you have a bedroom, then a bed is for sleeping. If you want to study, then you study. Desk should be for studying, and exercising, then the gym should be for exercising. Here he talks about the role of family and friends, giving an example of Hungarian named Laszlo Polgar wrote a series of letters, strange letter to a woman named Clara. Laszlo was a firm believer in hard work. It was a claim that a good genius is not born but educated and trained. And so yes, this is about a chess player. So they were both married and very good chess players, and they embedded these habits into their children. And when they grew up to be masters of chess. And that proves the point that if you sort of put your life around a certain thing, you will become a master at it. Then he talks about the 2 minute rule, uh, and he says that if you want to do something, then you can use the 2 minute rule to stop procrastination. So here it quotes example of a dancer, and she says that all of her success is credited to her simply daily habits. I begin each of my day with a ritual. I wake up at 5:30, put on my work clothes, my mom leg warmers, sweatshirt and my hat. I walk outside my hat on my hail a taxi, tell the driver to take me to the pumping iron gym, first step anywhere workout for 2 hours. The ritual is not stretching and weight training. I put my body through it. Muching the ritual is the cap. The moment I tell driver I have to, I have completed the ritual. Like you have to just make a routine and rituals of stuff. So when you start a habit, it will take less than 2 minutes to do. That's the 2 minute rule. So if you're building a habit of like reading a book, then read for 2 minutes, and rather than doing 30 minutes of yoga, become take out the yoga mat and break it to small chunks. Give yourself small wins, and the more amount of small wins you have, it will compound over time, and over time you will improve. And here he also talks about experiment that he changed the perception of people and make things accessible, or to just change habits. Talks about Karachi, Pakistan, where washing hands, someone developed the habit of washing hands just by changing the advertisement of soaps. And also track your habit immediately after. Like if you're tracking your working hours, track immediately. Like if you study for 10 minutes, immediately track that and write it in your journal rather than doing it at night, because you will forget it, and if you write it instantly it will give you a boost or something. So any habit you're tracking, when you do it, write it instantly or in your laptop or journal or anything. And have an accountability partner. He talks like if you have someone, and like it's about like working out with a friend, so you have an accountability partner in that way, that if you don't go to the gym, you will have your partner to answer to, that why aren't you coming. He talks about that you should decide to play a game where it betters to be harder, so you can favorable mind and mind you task. He talks about environment is very important, and like if you can mold yourself according to the environment or change the environment until you uh, want, it will help you, and work as hard as you can, and don't depend on luck until you work as hard as as those you admire. Don't explain away their success as luck. Here he talks about the Godlic rule, states the human experience. Peak motivation when working out either right on the edge of the current abilities. Not too hard, not too easy, just right. So when picking tasks, don't pick hard tasks that are too hard or too easy. Just pick the in between. And make a decision journal, and if you want to make a big decision in life, then calculate all the aspects of it and why you need to do it, what will be the outcome and what you will achieve from that. And after calculating and writing everything, make your decision, and it will in the long run help you. So in a few minutes I can say that this is a general overview of why habits are important, and just a few tricks. The 90% of the book is why habits are important. Maybe 10% is about actionable tips, but that's how every book is. Most of it are just fillers. So that's it for this video.